payday. Here's something that could leave a sour taste in your mouth. I can't even read this. My jaws are locking up.
Oh, man.
This is David Rush. You may not know him by name, but he is the holder of nearly 150 Guinness World Records. For his latest, he had to drink a liter of 100% lemon juice through a straw in less than 17.12 seconds. As you watch him make the attempt, we'll let you know that according to Rush, he does these stunts to encourage students to pursue science, math, and engineering. Whatever.
How does that happen?
I have no idea. Some other records he holds include the fastest juggler, the slowest juggler, the longest time balancing a chainsaw on his chin.
On his chin. Well, that's fantastic, too. He does a lot of things here. I will say that what is most impressive, that's not lemonade. That is lemon juice.
I know my jaws are hurting.
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
I could do lemonade probably, but there's no way I'm doing lemon juice. And, you know, the wild thing about juggling, I would think juggling fast is a lot easier than juggling slow, you know?
Well, I can't do either one, so I don't know.
I can't do it.
But you know, apparently he can control it. But the chainsaw on the chin, how does that ever come up in your life? You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to juggle a chainsaw on my chin.
Well, as long as it's not on, I think I might give it a try.
That would be the challenge.
You know, it's kind of balancing it on your chin, but it's like, yeah, if it's on, I'm not doing it. Sorry about that.
Well, thank heaven.
I mean, I would bet somebody's probably tried to do that. Don't try that at home, please.
Or here either. Don't try that here either.
No.
Well, in Joe Exotic's worst nightmare scenario, Carole Baskin is now the owner of the infamous Animal Park. An Oklahoma judge ruled in favor of Baskin's Big Cat Rescue Corporation, its lawsuit against Joe Exotic Zoo. The court is giving Baskin control of the 16-acre animal park in Garvin County, Oklahoma, with its array of big cats. The judgment also awarded several cabins and vehicles to Baskin. According to court records, Joe Exotic, whose real name is Joseph Allen Maldonado. What is his name? Maldonado. I don't watch the show. That remains in prison for his alleged attempt to hire a hitman to kill Baskin. I don't even know about this. And attorney Jeff Lowe currently says that Exotics Park says Baskin's victory was not unexpected. Instead of filing an appeal, Lowe is devoting all his energy to building a new tiger-themed
animal attraction. You have not seen Tiger King.
No.
I watched 3 of, I guess, 7 episodes. It might have come out with another one.
Did you take an IQ test afterwards to see if it dropped?
I mean, what it is you see these people and you're thinking, you know what, I'm glad I'm not living their life. I mean, you know, really, I mean, having tigers is kind of cool. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, just the amount of tigers and the amount of money they spend on just to feed the tigers. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And of course, what Carole Baskin supposedly did, I mean, pretty notorious right there alone. So I don't know. I mean, I think in the end, Joe Exotic ends up in jail. So, you know, you can't really run a theme park from jail.
Just so
all
you
that
know,
kind of stuff.
In case you didn't know, there's no reality TV. It's all
the wild thing
scripted,
is that it's about as real as reality TV can be. I mean, because, I mean, these people really existed. There really were tiger, you know, animal attractions. And people would still come there. And Carole Baskin was really, you know, kind of a rival of Joe Exotic's. I guess became a rival. And it's like, so yeah, I mean, that's a lot more real than some of these, like, Real World, MTV, and all those other things.
They're all scripted. I mean, it's all scripted.
Or Lost or something. Yeah.
I mean, meanwhile, a government watchdog says the IRS failed to go after hundreds of thousands of high-income individuals who didn't pay their taxes. That's according to Bloomberg News, citing a report by the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. The report identified more than 879,000 high-income individuals who didn't file returns. Altogether, they failed to pay upwards of $45 billion in taxes from 2014 to 2016. The report also found the IRS failed to put more than 326,000 of the cases into its enforcement system. The agency closed more than 42,000 cases without ever working them. The remainder of the cases also not likely to be pursued due to decreased enforcement efforts amid budget cuts. High-income taxpayers are defined in the report as those earning at least go back again, roll it back, slow it down, $100,000 annually.
Okay, now here's the thing on this. Now, I guarantee you, the IRS is going to be cracking down on everyone in the next year or so because of $3 billion, or $3 trillion, sorry.
Yes.
Don't want to shortchange in stimulus money that went out. That's one of those things where now they're going to be
paying attention. You're saying,
who did not pay? Who above $100,000 a year did not pay? All right, we're checking every single one of you. There'll probably be, we're talking about records and stuff like that, you know, lemon juice and all that kind of stuff. There will probably be a record number of audits, I would imagine, or something along those lines within the next year.
They're going to have to
They got to recoup some of that money. Are you kidding me?
They're going to get some more people in there, too. We will be back with more local lifestyles right after this. Stick around, folks.
Oh.